channel. I hope you're doing great and I hope you're staying safe. Today's video is really exciting because I'm going to share with you a few tips that I use to constantly remind myself why I chose to live a peaceful and successful lifestyle. You decided to watch this video because you were curious about the title. Maybe you were curious to hear what I had to say, or deep down you had a gentle reminder why you need more peaceful moments in your life. I believe that by the end of this video you would have gained some very insightful tips on living a peaceful life. Without wasting any more time, let's dive right into the video. So growing up, I always lived in big cities. I lived in Bronx, New York. I lived in Queens, New York. Lived in Accra, Ghana. I lived in Columbus, Ohio. Always busy. There was traffic. There was pedestrians. Basically everything you'd find in a big city. So as I began to grow up and get more matured, I really started to value less drama in my life. I started to value less noise, less activities. Every time I would spend in a peaceful space, I used to be so happy. It felt like my inner being, my inner soul would just be so alive. I felt so at peace. I felt everything I loved and I wanted to feel. How did I get there, or how did I start this journey? That leads me to my first tip, which is tip number 1. My first tip, or tip number 1, is my faith in God and meditation. I grew up in a Christian household. I grew up going to church from a very young age. So knowing about God is nothing new to me. I've always known that God was the source of everything. I grew up knowing that everything I needed to do in life, I needed God to be at the center of it. I grew up knowing that God is everything, and before I can begin anything, I needed to consult God. With that as my foundation, I knew that I needed to first ask God for peace. God is the giver of life. God gives peace. So who best to consult than God? You know, living a peaceful life isn't one that you would broadcast to the world or you would discuss with your friends and ask what they thought about. People will eventually catch on. People will eventually see that you are involved in less drama. So it's not something that you discuss or share with people. Knowing God, I believe, played a very vital role on this peaceful journey. Tip number 2. Tip number 2 is dealing with your finances, is dealing with your money issues, is dealing with your debt. Because as we all know, being in debt or being broke is really stressful. When it comes to your finances, you need to be true to yourself. You need to ask yourself, are you living within your means or are you living above your means? To be on a peaceful journey or to be at peace with yourself, you need to be true to yourself. You cannot be living a life that you can't afford, because all that compounds to so much stress in your life. To live a peaceful life, you need to start taking your finances seriously. You need to at least have an emergency fund. I have a video where I'm going to link so that you can watch after watching this video. In this video, I go in depth about your finances and how you can avoid debt. It's another very important step in living a peaceful life, because though being financially sound isn't the only way you can have peace of mind, being broke isn't either. Maybe as you're watching this video, you have a couple of outstanding bills, you have not even found a job yet, or you have found a job and are not saving enough. No worries, you can still pick up from wherever you are and live a better life. And that takes us to tip number 3. Tip number 3 talks about letting go. Letting go of past hurt, letting go of past experiences, letting go of all that negative stuff that happened to you growing up or that happened to you when you were with a partner. Pretty much anything negative that happened to you in the past, it's time that you let it go. It's also a good time to let go of all your haters, of jealousy, of all the negative stuff people have said. Let it go. Tip number 4 talks about priorities. It talks about how you prioritize your life. What is important to you? Who is important to you? Is it your job? Is it your family? Is it your kids? Is it your spouse? Is it your parents? Whatever is important to you, you focus on that. This is actually a very important step that you need to take if you really want to be the better version of yourself. Do not change yourself in the process of trying to change someone else. It's very important that you set time aside for yourself to grow emotionally, to grow spiritually, to grow financially. You need to prioritize your time and spend your time well. When you start to prioritize your life, you would start to focus more on things that are important, and you'd find yourself not wasting so much time with everything that comes your way. Don't be busy all over the place, and at the end of the day, you have nothing to show. Or at the end of the day, you are left so drained and tired. So let's talk about tip number 5. Tip number 5 talks about being grateful and not comparing yourself to others. This tip is so simple yet very hard for many to follow. 2020 proved to us again how fragile life is and how important we need to be grateful for the life that we have and for the family and friends that we still get to share memories with. It's also very important not to compare yourself to the next person. Most people are faking their lives. On social media, people do not show you their failures. We're not seeing their flaws. We're not seeing their mistakes. We're not seeing their down moments, their depressed moments. We're not seeing how broke they are. Everyone is pretty much showing you how glamorous and how pretty, cleaned up, edited version. So, if you're watching this video, if you don't take anything out of this video, please take out this one thing. Be grateful and do not compare your life to anyone, because you are living a life that is blessed. You are living a life that is amazing, whether you know it or not. And there is more light at the end of the tunnel for you if you start to focus on yourself, if you start to focus on your life. If you're still watching this video, I'll suggest that you hit that subscribe button, because there's more good content coming your way. Let's go right into our tip number 6. Tip number 6 talks about protecting your energy. Many times we allow people's bad behaviors to order our steps. Someone else's bad behavior should not be the reason why you're having a crappy day, the reason why you're having a miserable life, the reason why you're being mean to others. Whenever someone is mean to you, remind yourself that it's their problem and not yours. Remind yourself the path that you're on to be a better you. Yes, sometimes people can be really annoying, but it's okay. You cannot control anyone else's behavior except yours. So this is the time that you need to constantly remind yourself. We need to protect our minds. We need to protect our space. We need to protect what we consume on social media. We need to protect what we consume on TV, on the radio, even the kind of music that you listen to, because music kind of tells you how to feel. So if you're listening to a music where they're talking about negative energy is being promoted, you need to be aware that what you feed yourself is what you become. Like the saying goes, what you plant is what you're going to reap. The same way, if you're sowing good energy, you're sowing hard work, you're sowing good vibes all around you, you're sowing good morals into your kids, that is what you are going to reap out of them. Let's be very aware of what we put in, because chances are that is exactly what we're going to get out. You are on the right track only if you're going to get up and do what you need to do. If you're going to go into action and start following these tips, you're going to be on your way to living a peaceful and successful life. I love to impact others. I love to spread light and love. I love good vibes and good energy. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please do so now and hit that subscribe button, the bell notification, so you get notified whenever I drop a new video. Thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video. Thank you so much that you've decided to be an amazing and awesome person. I hope God gives you all the strength that you need, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.